this is tough. But something that really helped me out was just realizing I wasn't alone. Because I remember sitting in Miller one day and then, just mowing down my business in Gravy. And I was thinking to myself, like, man, this sucks. And then Marcus Weir was like, does anyone else hate this right now? So I was like, oh my goodness, I'm not alone,
Feeling better than I ever been. Cairo in his bag, this beat is heaven sent. Back up in my element, new whip, trunk up in the front, I whip an elephant. It's all limo tint, that's how you move when you the president. You S and off stream, treat him like my last name. Disrespecting, you just signed a check for a long day. Appetizer rappers, you will never be an entree. Really, you a condiment, and I hope y'all follow.
Hey, welcome to the Players Lounge, presented by the Rockin R Bar. It's your boy Josh Perkins. I'll be sitting with some current MSU players, some former MSU players. We're gonna chop it up a little bit. I wanna take a second to thank all our supporters out there. It's gonna be a great season. It's gonna be a great show. Let's go Cats.
So then we did it. Me and Tonga used to, then we worked, then we did that. Yeah, it was a cool job. It was, whatever, $8 an hour just to set up stages and chairs.
Around beating up all the basketball players.
Oh gosh, is that still a thing nowadays? I remember back in our day, we had beef for some reason. Basketball and football guys never got along.
He'll call me like, well, get these polys off me, man.
Oh man, I remember Mecklin called me one time. He's like, hey man, what do you know about this guy? He wants to fight us. I'm like, oh my God, let me make a phone call.
Yeah, y'all had the spook, boy.
Oh my God, I remember one time.
It was calling everybody dead, huh?
Back when I was here, it was probably 8 or 10 of us during my time here. It's crazy.
No, you got Danny's a half.
How many is there now? Just a handful?
Me and we have a Afakashi kid.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Just trying to. Well, the main thing is you've seen it. You're trying to pluck that culture of that kid who's been around with the family for so long. You got to pull him out of that. It's hard to pull him out of that.
You talking about like as far as like
Polynesian.
how you raised in the Polynesian way?
You're raised in the family. You're raised in a family very.
And you said it's harder here to try
it's harder to pull them out.
Oh.
That's why you see a lot of them stick around San Diego.
Just because it's comfortable.
It's comfortable. They got plenty of them around. That's why it's a little different.
It's like a real cycle you got to break. And then with the elders are like accepting that too, like to stick around here.
It's kinda
they're like pushing you
like
out.
Boise does what Boise, Idaho, they do well because they do a good job of having Polynesian coaches, and they got a small community in Boise, and it's like easy to sell those Polynesian kids. Like, you're not gonna miss anything if you come up here. First, it's just tougher in Boise. It's just tougher in Montana.
So sometimes people have opportunities and they just comfortable just chilling at the house then instead of taking them. And then the older people was okay with them being around there too.
Especially Oregon pulls them like nuts.
I mean, think about put this perspective. Black young men who come up here, they come up here because they have other black young men to rely on and they relate to and they feel comfortable around. And so they're not coming up here because of the skiing, the golfing, the hiking. They're coming up here because they like, oh shit, I got another brother like me that's out here. He's doing well. I guess I can.
Bro, that is my exact words to my mom. Yeah. When I came out and recruited, there was a guy came out of Morgan. Guy was here and he's from Inglewood. And that was my exact words. There's another brother out there, Kenyatta. He's from Inglewood. He like it. I'm gonna go at least try it for a year. You know what I mean? That was my exact words, to tell you the truth.
That's why you hear a lot of recruiting friends that let you. The number one thing a lot of these kids say when they're getting recruited is, it's a family atmosphere. I feel welcome. I feel like I could be amongst other brothers and just be with people that just relate to me. That's the number one thing is a family atmosphere you're feeling. And a lot of it, unfortunately, deals with the color of your skin sometimes. Feeling comfortable.
Yeah. But it does. I think the sports does fill that void sometimes that's not there for that family aspect. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
I know that was the first time I ever called somebody sir.
We're all from pretty much the same area except for your boy here. I mean, you either played ball or you joined a gang or you did dip stuff, and because that's where you're around, that's where you felt comfortable with.
Yeah, that's what you're exposed to. So you don't see that as
that's all you know. So those are the two avenues, really.
Was that like for you in the Bay?
Yeah, pretty much. There's other stuff you could do, but it's not like you over here making jumps. Like, this is, I'm doing something that nobody back home does. Anybody. Like, I'm the first one to graduate high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, first
I got
one.
Out of your...
Yeah, out of my family.
Really?
Yeah, because my mom has half brothers. My dad, like the youngest of hella kids or something like that. Hella kids. But I'm the first to graduate high school. I'm the oldest 8, so like, yeah.
Well, congratulations there. You part of that cycle that you're breaking though. You know what I'm saying?
It ain't nothing, but it's like, this is what I'm supposed to do. Okay. But now, like, yeah, pretty much like you either play ball or you going downhill. So.
Okay,
You know?
same thing.
Yeah.
So a ball was like your release of some of that BS that was going on in the neighborhood and stuff like that? Did you just play football or you do any other
No,
sports?
I played football and rugby and basketball, and I did track. But I mean, sports was just my
What you do?
getaway.
Like,
Yeah, the throw.
okay. I said, you got some heat?
I got some heat though.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it was probably your meal ticket. I would say, right? It was your way out, and that's why I'm sure all your uncles and your aunties and your cousins were like, you the one that academically and athletic could get the hell out.
Oh,
So
you was the one, huh?
I am the meal ticket.
Yeah,
Like,
that was my
respect
nickname
it.
growing up. Was the meal ticket, the big ticket. Like, you are gonna get out.
And so everybody kind of put their effort towards you getting to that.
My uncles did
that
the same
step.
thing. Maybe your uncles and family did the same thing, where they kept us away from gang banging, slanging dope, doing mischief, and being out on the streets. They make sure I was on the straight and narrow. I'm sure they probably did the same thing with you. You know?
Little bit, like, cause I lost my pops when I was 10, so like it was
sorry
just
to hear that.
no, it's good. It was just like me and my mom. So I mean, like really, I wasn't gonna listen to anybody. I mean, really, just my mom kept me. My uncles wasn't gonna tell me nothing. Realistically, like my mom could tell me what to do, and that was it. So it was like I just listened to moms. But yeah, it was I am the meal ticket, like in my family. Like if I don't make it, then I don't know what's gonna happen.
Is that a lot of pressure though, bro? Like,
Not necessarily, because I mean, like, I think there's so many ways, to get up in life and without using football, but without going to the league. Like I think I can do a lot in life, but nah, not necessarily. I don't want to let it be pressure.
Because everyone's looking for a football player when it comes like to work. Getting a job, everyone wants to get a football player. That's what Coach V and Coach Cho always talks about. It's just a work ethic we have, really. So even if he doesn't, obviously JT's a super talented player, but if he doesn't make it to the league, everyone's going to look at the resume, see he's a high school graduate, college graduate, and he played football on top of all of it. He can get any job, really. And especially that's what pushes me a lot, because I know whatever happens, I'm going to have my degree, I'm going to have, my work ethic with me, so I can take that anywhere.
yeah. Well, back to your story. Besides the pressure of having like such a handsome dad growing up, what was your drive like to turn that corner, or when did you feel like, okay, I can do this?
I definitely say that junior year summer, because prior to that, I didn't do anything when it came to like the weight room stuff and just like the work ethic behind it. I just naturally thought, obviously I had a pretty athletically gifted father, so I was like, I can BS my way through it. I'll be a starter in varsity. I can. It'll all work out for me. But then that reality check really hit my junior year when I wasn't really anything in Montana. I wasn't the greatest lineman. I just felt like I was getting overpowered a lot. Obviously, as a smaller lineman, that's something I always have. But I just felt like I was kind of outclassed. I felt really. So luckily, Chris Brown, really took me under that wing that junior year, like going into senior year, that winter really.
That's your quarterback, Chris?
Yeah,
Okay.
my quarterback, Chris. And he really just taught me how to work, showing up every day. He always texts me, I'll see you in the weight room after school. I'll see you in the weight room in the morning, working out twice a day, just continuing to push me. And that really installed, I was like, okay, yeah, if I want to get anything done, it has to start here. And so just that constant showing up. And I think it's really the consistency behind it, just showing up every day. It definitely, because you start adding days. Obviously, the first day is always the hardest, no matter what you're getting into. If you're starting a new job, you're starting a new video game or some shit like that. It's always that first. It's like, this is kind of tough, but then you do it again and again and again, and eventually becomes like clockwork. You clock in, clock out. And that's something that really helped me, because then I saw a complete switch. I was getting stronger. I was looking better. I felt faster. I felt stronger. Going out to the field, getting field work in, I just really felt like I was making a difference out there. That's what really kept pushing me. So that's when.
That's the summer of going to your junior year.
Going into my senior year, going into that.
Okay.
That's when I really felt like everything was clicking for me.
You was already starting as a junior, but you're saying during that play you felt
I just felt like
I'm just barely holding on.
Yeah, like I felt like my strength wasn't there or anything like that. I was just like, something has to flip for me, really. And even that's what Coach Weshy was talking about. I remember he always tells me this story. There's some lift. I was lifting with Ryan Simpson, obviously a great buddy of mine, and we're doing like some basketball workout.
All these Grizz friends.
Yeah.
I'm disown you,
and then he was like, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do some basketball workout. I'll be good, Coach Weshy. I was like, the hell you're not. The football team was doing lunges out on the track. I was like, I ain't gonna do that. He's like, well, you better grab some 25.
Oh yeah, you did think you was a hooper.
Yeah, exactly. That. I saw that hoop. I thought I was the next Shaq at 5'11", but that didn't happen. So he was like, yeah, go grab some dumbbells and start lunging around, and then after that, kind of just kept going for me. So it's super blessed in that aspect.
So was you like him when you was hooping? You was basically like a football player hooping?
Nah, I sucked at hoop. I was bad.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
You
like,
just bang around and then somehow a basket might go in or something like that.
he good at hoop. He could hoop. I see him hoop. He can
Okay,
hoop.
yeah.
The G League has some
Not me.
highlights.
What, did you do any other sports?
Yeah, played basketball.
Okay.
I actually had more basketball scholarships than I had football scholarships coming out of high school.
What high school did you go to?
Paramount.
Okay,
Paramount
okay.
High, then Long Beach Jordan, and Tribuco Hills.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You was a mercenary.
Yeah.
Moving
Jumped
around.
all over.
You actually had more options.
Yeah.
Was you look smaller? What was you at in high school? Size wise?
6'5", 290.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Moving pretty good though.
Pretty good. Yeah, I was played in the same conference. Got dunked on by Tyson Chandler, and so we had a San Gabriel League.
San Gabriel
San Gabriel
Valley.
League.
Yeah,
There's a lot of good players, man. Basketball, football, track and field there in that early 2000s, late 90s, and
Linwood, everybody.
had football players, basketball players. It was good. It was a.
And you came here as a freshman.
Freshman.
So you spent your whole career here.
Came here on a whim only because I didn't come out as a qualifier. I came out as a guy who never took the SATs until May of my senior year. And so schools like Utah, Arizona State, Oregon, they withdrew their scholarship offers from me because I wasn't good to go through the clearinghouse.
Yeah.
And so well, we can't gamble on you to be eligible. We got to use a scholarship for somebody who is eligible. So they took it up. But Coach Kramer and Coach Kristoff,
Okay.
they were like, hey, you pass your SATs, you graduate, your scholarship is still going to be there. And so out of the 15 schools that offered me, they were the only ones that stuck behind me and said, we're going to honor our scholarship as long as you do your work and honor your side of the agreement, we'll honor ours. And that's how I end up here.
Oh, wow.
So I could have easily went the JUCO route, which I thought about, but my mom was like, the hell
Gotta
you
get outta
are.
here, huh?
You got a guaranteed scholarship offer? You take your monkey out of here and go to Montana.
You gonna be at like Long Beach City?
Yeah,
or
get out of Long
Cerritos
Beach.
or
Get
something?
out of Long Beach. You're gonna go somewhere. So I did. That's what brought me here, and then I'm still here. Was it 19 years later?
Still here,
Still
huh?
here. Call it home. Call it home.
I feel the same thing. I like
Yeah.
one of my best decisions in life
Yeah.
was deciding to be a Bobcat or moving to Boulder.
Don't get me wrong. I'm sure you feel the
myself.
same way. We love home. Home is always gonna be home, but it's just at least for me, there's no progress. There's no moving forward. There's nothing for me there to move on, and that's something you guys are gonna have to come through terms too. At the end of the day, when you guys get done, it's like, what do I do next with my life? Do I move do I stay in Bozeman? Do I go somewhere bigger? Do I go back home? I chose not to go back home because going back home meant I'm taking a step back and I'm falling back into those web of BS and just struggle.
Because it's everywhere.
Everywhere.
You're a product of your environment sometimes. I totally get that point. You know, that's why I wanted to get out. Just so I didn't have that influence.
I think at our age, Perk, when we go back home, and I'm sure when you go back home too, you're gonna start seeing more and more. A lot of the people we grew up with are still doing the same.
Same.
Not doing anything.
Ain't left the block.
I'm sure you got some relatives who still live with their moms,
Still chilling.
still live with their uncles, they still live in the same
Posted
house.
up in front of the liquor store, like, bro, go
Yeah,
home.
not doing anything.
12 midnight.
Ain't nothing else to do.
I got my
And
brother.
then they want to give you advice.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
give you life
I'm gonna
advice,
follow
and they
you.
haven't, and God bless their hearts.
Yeah.
The circumstances are different for everybody, but we made a decision to be where we're at today. They made a decision to be where they're at, and that's what life's about: is making decisions that's going to lead to bigger and better things for us, for your family. It sounds like your mom's your motivation. Continue it to be that way. My mom was my motivation. You know, still hurts me to see the pain I saw her go through as a child. I'm sure you went through the same thing. You probably see the pain through your family. Everybody has pain. I've always used it as my motivation to catapult me to the position I am today, the man I am today.
I'm even getting insight right now, and I thought I knew you, you know. But even when you was training for the league, you know what I mean? Like you was, but you really like, I got to get to the league, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm thinking like now that I'm hearing you, you had a lot of pressure. It wasn't just you feeling that way. It wasn't just like your dream. You're like, bro, like you saying about that
But
meal
now
ticket thing.
it's turned into, like you said, there's no pressure on your end, and I felt pressure. I felt the financial pressure. Like if I get to the league, I get a paycheck and I can help my family out. Now, as I'm 37. I look at it now as like I didn't have to make it to the league and stay in the league and get a big paycheck. Because now I see the dividends is paying with my nephews and my nieces now looking up to me like, God, Uncle Lewis could get out. He got out. He left. He's doing well. And you know what? Maybe I should give this academic thing a try. Maybe I should care a little bit.
Cause I think you flew up a couple of your nephews and stuff like that just to come up
last
here
summer
and
they
do
came
some
to
camps.
they came to the camp last year.
You said I just want to expose them to
Yeah, I
something
want to
different or whatever.
expose them to something different. That there's more to just being in the neighborhoods, sticking around, being comfortable around what you know. You know, I'm trying to expose them to being uncomfortable. You know, get out there. You don't think it's uncomfortable being the only big brown man in Bozeman sometimes? Yeah, but I like it, right, Mike? We love it. We got folks like Mike here. That he's a great asset to the people of color in this community, and he's just a great man in general. So you just try to surround yourself with people like that who want to take care of you, want to help you, who want to see you thrive, and that's what I'm trying to expose my family, and that's what led me to this. And you know, I mentor around town. I mentor a couple middle school kids. I help out whenever I can. If Perk calls for something, I'm like, hell yeah, when? I'm there. What you need? Need me to help with the football team? I'll do whatever. Because that's my goal, is to help give some piece of information to you young men who are coming up to utilize it and just
be the best version
of yourself.
Yeah. So this is a question I like to ask for the transition side of it. Just because it's always almost a different answer from each person. So from high school to college, for each one of you guys, like, what was harder? Was it the physical aspect of it, going from here to the physical, you know, as far as the strength and the speed of some of the guys you go up against, or that playbook? You know what I'm saying? What you felt was as far as you? What was harder? Was the physical part or the playbook?
For me, it was probably the playbook. You know, I'm pretty sure he remembers freshman year.
Yeah.
You know, I get down to my stairs, I'm like, Perk, what's the play, bro? Like, Perk, what's the play?
Like, what I do?
I didn't know what to do on any play. He had to tell me, like, I'm serious. My freshman year before I left and everything, like, he's the one who told me everything. I was sitting over there like, damn, I can't pick this play up, like, because like in high school, we ran the wing tee, so it was like, it was just down, kick out. Yeah, so I mean, coming here and learn the playbook blew my mind.
What about you?
Yeah, with the little black and white rim days.
Yeah, black.
No,
The what?
That was I swear to God, he asked me to play it. Yeah, it was inside zone, left or right. So he'd ask me every time.
Every time? It was the same play?
The simplest play, just black rim. Just block your left, JT.
Every time. Block your left. All right, I'm coming.
Yeah. For me, that was definitely the physical side of it. You know, the playbook kind of seemed natural to me. Well, I was a notaholic. I think that's what Coach Armin called me. Because our first meeting, he was like, yeah, always have your notebook with you. Always have something to write with. And then, you know, if it's important, it's going to be on the board. And if it's important, it should probably be in your notebook. And I really took that to heart. So I wrote everything, every aspect, you know, figuring out what the quarterback's reading, anything like that, and studying it, you know, in my dorm my freshman year, because I didn't have much. You know, I didn't have like my Xbox and everything moved in there yet after fall camp, so I was just sitting in my bed looking over what I wrote that day and watching film and seeing how I can improve in that aspect. But it's definitely the physical for me. Obviously, you know, being a smaller lineman and, you know, walking on like 240 pounds, I want to say, you know, that was the sign of the linebacker. That was the size of Troy Anderson. You know, my freshman year. It was a real shock for me, and it was something that I took to heart. I understood it was something I needed to get better at in terms of like the weight room, eating wise, and everything. And it definitely took me a little bit to figure out how important it truly was. You know, that first semester freshman year. You know, it's so new. You know, you can go.
You had to battle some big boys back then too, right?
Yeah. You know, like Chase Benson, Kyle Rigg. Yeah. You know, Dizzy. You know, Derek Marks. Marcus Ferreter. Guys like that. You know, I was kind of showed up to practice, trying my best, but I was gonna get my kicked. But yeah, it definitely helped me though towards the end.
What about you?
First of all, guy, he reminds me of Jennifer Lanik. Mike, you remember Jennifer Lanik? Undersized center, came from Anaconda, very cerebral. You're the same way. He's a doctor now, by the way.
Oh, okay.
But came
manifest
in.
that.
Anaconda came as a 180-pound center. Yeah, and you know, worked his ass off until he was a senior, and he ended up starting his senior year with me. He ended up blowing up to like 280. Same height, probably the same height, but you know, you just remind me so much of him. Jimmy V, he was a great guy. Now he's 170 pounds. Lost all that weight again.
You know, they say the linemen get skinny and the DBs get fat.
Not me, I stayed fat. No, mine was the X's and O aspects was my issue, which it prevented me from doing my physical job, which prevented me from showcasing my physical ability, the reason why they recruited me. So yeah, X's and O's for me was just the toughest part, because high school you ran a lot of simple plays, simple concepts. Technique wasn't a big thing in high school at the time. And so to learn technique and then X's and O's and job responsibilities and not knowing just your job, but why this guy next to you is doing that and the other guy, it was a learning curve. I mean, it took me probably to my senior year in college here to really know the playbook and really be super confident and play to the best of my ability.
Okay. And are you guys like all psychos? Because I feel like all you linemen are like so nice off the field, but on the field, y'all all turn to something different. You know what I mean? Even some of the guys I played with just.
I think it comes down to coaches. Yeah, you have to turn on the light switch. I think because we were so big growing up, you know, we're always taught to like, hey,
You're gonna be bigger.
you're gonna be bigger. Don't hurt this kid. Be gentle. Blah blah. You know, one thing I've always been taught, I think Coach McIndoe, my O-line coach at the time, said, he's like, hey, off the field, you're a gentleman, you're a sweetheart, yes ma'am, no ma'am, please and thanks you, but on the field, you want to be the biggest dickhead on the planet Earth. Mm-hmm. In between the whistles, in between those lines, you are, when they get done playing, they should not want to play you. And so that's the kind of mentality I think, as an offensive lineman, I think it's universal. We're all pretty much sweethearts and gentlemen and pretty quiet people off the field and on the field.
What's your thoughts real quick on them? Because, you know, like our offensive line last year was getting a lot of slack from people, you know, because they wouldn't return them any starters. They had a bunch of new faces,
I mean, that's just how, I mean, we thought from the get-go.
Come out and do what they did. How did you feel as a lineman watching that?
Like we talked since when we first sat at this table here, offensive line position is a totally different position compared to the DBs and receivers and quarterback and a running back room. If those five guys aren't in unison, aren't on the same page, no matter if you're in Alabama, Georgia, Montana State, you aren't going to succeed. You know, the offensive lineman, yes, I'm being biased because I'm an offensive lineman, they are the tip of the spear. You go as far as your offensive lineman go. If your offensive lineman isn't on sync, isn't doing what they need to do to move the ball, typically your team isn't going to do well. And I think, but it also takes time. You can't just throw 4 new faces and expect to create something very good
synergy,
right away. I mean, I think it took, my senior year, we led the league in rushing my senior year in the Big Sky Conference. We gave up the least amount of sacks, but we had all 5 guys started all 13 games. And out of those 5 guys, 3 of those guys were returning starters. So there is something to be said about returning starters, experience, and continuity of having guys play with each other.
So according to your theory, then they should have an even bigger, better year.
Not to put pressure, but shit, y'all should lead the conference in rushing. Y'all should lead the conference in least amount of sacks given. I don't think it's not obtainable. I think it's very, very obtainable.
So how do y'all feel about that? Like going into last year, you was hearing all that negative publicity and
Which I have a question.
Yeah.
I know for us, it was just, you know, Coach Army really drilled it into us. It was just a mentality of, you know, screw what they think. You know, they weren't up at 6 in the morning working out with us. They weren't sticking after workouts to get, you know, a couple reps up on the heavy bags. You know, so you know, why should they have a say into what we can and can't be? So that was really our mentality, and then just how we practice so much. That's why I think we're able to, you know, you put the position where we were in last year into a couple other schools. I don't think they'd have the success we would have because of just the way we practice. You know, all the reps we take. You know. Okay, yeah. All that just repetition, working with the guys to the left and right of me, you know, always over and over again. It just made the transition of, you know, having 4 new linemen a lot easier in that aspect, you know. And I think we're a super tight-knit group on this offensive line, you know. Yeah. We all really love each other. I think that really drives us, you know. I want to make sure I'm doing my best so JT can do his best, you know. That's what really drives me. I want to make sure I perform so Marcus has a great game or Rush. And obviously Tommy and Sean can have great games, but how we play really affects my mood, so.
Yeah, those were some of my favorite parts. Like even on some of those big runs and stuff like that, like you gotta turn around and hug each other, you know what I'm saying, before you go like hug Tommy or Sean or something like that. It's like, that's one of my favorite parts. It's like, bro, we did it type deal, you know what I'm saying?
Like especially like when we played NAU, there was like 3 goal line touchdowns that we had right off me and his butt because we cleared the A gap. Like if you watch the film, after every play, like we're screaming each other's face, like come on, like. Especially because like, you know, the NAU game was hard and after everything the media was saying and, you know, but yeah, no, that's probably the best part. Especially because it's like an art. When everything opens up and we block it correctly, how it's supposed to look, especially with, you know, some plays that we have in our playbook. I ain't gonna say nothing, but especially with some plays we have, it's like an art. When it's blocked correctly, it's like,
This looks beautiful out there.
It's a beautiful orchestra. It's a beautiful musical.
Everybody fall into place and stuff like that instantly.
It is. And the casual fan doesn't see that. The casual fan typically blames the offensive line for a loss and congratulates the quarterback and running backs for the victory. Which, as an offensive lineman, I think we've all are okay with that. We accept that. We'll just take care of us. Feed us on Thursday nights. Give us our pregame meal on Friday. We'll be happy. You can get all the glory. We'll take the blame. No big deal. Just feed us. But back to what you mentioned, media and the outside pressure and people talking. And I thought of a question because we grew up in an era of no media, no social media, no Instagram, Snapchat. Luckily. And so you guys being this generation of kids who are just, you're immersed in it. You have it. For a lot of kids, to get a lot of NIL money, you need social media. And so, again, my question is, has that added more pressure on you guys? Or do you guys have kind of a rule to stay off of social media? Or how do you do it personally? Like me, personally, right now, I don't go on social media much because I feel like a lot of it's toxic and a lot of it's muck. And I try not to get immersed into it because it could just get you. And I'm sure as a player nowadays, I'm sure it gets real crazy seeing people say stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And some people hype
everybody
you
got
up.
an opinion.
And how do you guys deal with that?
One thing that we try to preach, especially Perk preaches to us being a leader, us protect the team. So we try to protect the team, and because if we do something stupid, that represents the whole team, especially the online group. Especially in our room, we hold ourselves to a high standard. So really just protect the team and don't do nothing stupid.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely easy to get caught up in it because it's so accessible, You just look up, you can literally look up your name on Twitter and see what people are saying about you. So it's definitely hard to, block it out all the time. But yeah, I think we just try our best to stay off as much as possible. And, obviously, like we said, so many fans are wishy-washy anyway. One game they'll be talking about how awful you are. The next game they're praising you. So, I don't really pay any mind to it. It is what it is.
Good. So I think the most important people are usually the ones in those meeting rooms.
Exactly.
Their opinions matter the most, and that's good. I was just curious because I just
because you see it everywhere.
You see it everywhere.
Everyone has to promote themselves as an athlete. Going to summer camps, those clips you see everywhere. Oh, this lineman did so great, this one-on-one or stuff like that.
They're glorifying the good times, but you rarely see the hard times and the grind.
Reality of it. Yeah.
Well, that's good. Good.
And then as a walk-on, you're talking about how rough that first year was for you. Was there any super dark moments? Was there any time you felt like, man, I'm not sure I want to do this or I make the right decision and stuff like that? And if it was, what made you see it through or overcome it or turn that corner?
Yeah, definitely after that first week, because I realized.
Week one? Okay.
Definitely that first week, because then I realized I still had like 3 more weeks of fall camp, so I was like,
well, 3 more weeks of this?
No, I was like, this is tough. But something that really helped me out was just realizing I wasn't alone. Because I remember sitting in Miller one day and then, just mowing down my business in gravy, and I was thinking to myself, like, man, this sucks. And then Marcus Weaver was like, does anyone else hate this right now? So I was like, oh my goodness, I'm not alone, And then another big thing was we had a team meeting with Coach Cho, and Coach Cho, he's like, obviously it's tough right now, and he said the quote that I always live by, you get what you get in the short run, but you get what you deserve in the long run. And that what's really like pushed me. It's like, all right, yeah, obviously I'm gonna get what I get. It's gonna be rough this first year, I'm gonna have to eat with a smile on my face, but I understand, if I just continue to put in the work, come in each day, ready to get better, eventually it's going to pay out for me. And that's luckily something I did bought into because I'm super fortunate to be in the position I am now.
Okay. And then you two, we won't get too much into specific, but you had some mix-ups and stuff like that. You started here, you had to bounce back and then come back. Same thing, like what was the focus of what got you the same thing, just that family pressure? What was your focus to get you through some of those rough parts? Get back to who you are now.
It probably a lot of self-motivation. Like I would sit down with my dad's older brother. Shout out my Uncle Will, that's the homie. But I would sit down a lot with him when I got sent home, and I was home for a year.
That was pretty rough right there.
Yeah, especially
was you pretty down right there.
I was pretty down bad, especially because I had to face some consequences that I didn't want to do, and then I had to. I was working, so like my JUCO work schedule would be like Monday. I'd work Monday through Saturday. Like we get done with the game at 5, and I'd on my way to work.
Really?
Yeah, so JUCO was in San Mateo though, and that's like 40 minutes with no traffic on the freeway. But then
on a good day.
On a good day, but you never had no good days of traffic in a day. So, it was flying back and forth to San Jose and San Mateo. But I mean, most of it came really from self-motivation. Because, I mean, like, I think, it's good to have, like, my mom and my siblings for motivation, but like, if I can't get up and do it for myself, then how am I going to do it for them? You know what I'm saying? Like how am I going to be able to support my family if I can't support myself, really? That was my way of thinking. So, I mean, it took some growing up. I had to do some growing up back home, and, really it was just, I mean, how bad do I want it? Like, do I want to get up and work, or do I want to just, lay down and never be back in Bozeman, probably never touch the field again, so.
Those little moments. So let's talk into that big rivalry, right? Those guys over the mountains, that Cat Grizz situation, right?
The team we don't say their name. Those other guys.
Yeah. I just want to get like everybody kind of perspective. Like how was it for you? Did it take you a minute to get into it? Was it already built in through your teammates? Like,
honestly, it was built in probably since they offered me in high school. Yeah, because it was on some weird shit. Like, they offered me right after I posted my unofficial visits from here, and my cousin, he coached online here. Josh Toffler, the big Tonga dude.
Yeah. Okay, that's your cousin.
That's my cousin. Yeah, that's my dog. Like,
okay,
for real, that's my dog.
He's
But
solid.
yeah. So, anyways, he had told me he was coaching when, they were over there and they were throwing the poop at him and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, I was like, crazy. Like, he was telling me this in high school, and I'm like if he talking, about him, I'm right up with you, bro. Like, come on. Come on, bro. Like, and then, but anyways, like, and then especially, hearing like Perk and Marcus and everyone who was on the team 2021, like, talk about how, like, what it meant to them. And she's like, I'm getting emotional talking about it right now, bro. Like, that game was crazy. I mean, especially Army. Our first meeting that week, Army showed us a picture of where the trophy should have been the whole year. And he was like just going off. Perk remembers this, like just talking about how it was like they shouldn't be used to be a stand for a water cooler. Like, what are we doing? Mm-hmm. Yeah, then
That's that motivation you had. Huh? What about you, like growing up here and going to some of them and actually getting to play in them? What was it like?
I mean, obviously having you play for the Cats, obviously those other guys weren't even on my mind really. But what really motivated me was, obviously coming into high school, I just wanted to look at all my options I had for like continue my athletic career. And obviously, my great friends Chris and Ryan committed over there, and I was like, well, maybe put my name in a conversation, say like, oh yeah, Justus Perkins would be interested in walking on there, or something like that. And then I remember Chris showed me the text. I forgot one of their coaches was like, yeah, the guy's too small. He'd be lucky to be an NAIA athlete. And from right there, I was like, all right, That's all I needed to hear. I'm pretty sure I texted Toffoli right then and there, like, all right, yeah, I'm coming to the Cats. and ever since then, when I think about them, that's something that really motivates me, Just proving them wrong, continuing to do what I do best, and on the damn stage.
That's cool. Yeah. That's cool. Now they just lit another fire under your.
Exactly, yeah.
So beat them every year now. God, that's awesome.
What was your record against the Grizz?
Oh God, it was not good. 1-3.
Okay, you got one. Though.
1. It was.
I was 0 in everything.
Yeah, 1-3. It wasn't the greatest. We had a couple of games where we had a good shot to win. I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. Some questionable goal line calls.
Okay.
From the offensive coordinator at the time.
Okay.
But hey.
Hey.
It's okay. No, it was it was a recruiting trip. My first recruiting trip here. I ran into this lady at the restaurant we're at, and she's like, "You guys can go 0-11, just one win better come against the Grizz." I was like,
"That's really
that's
how
it."
they think.
Because yeah, we don't care if you guys lose every single game. Well, they do, but you guys better at least beat the Grizz. And I was like, "Wow, it must be this serious of a rivalry." And I think the brochures and everything had nothing but Cat Grizz. They showed me. Every highlight was Cat Grizz. Everything was Cat Grizz. And I was like, wow.
So kind of ingrained in
yeah, which, being from LA, nobody knows about Cat Grizz.
Right.
And
we was talking about that. It was like you Bruins Trojans, right?
Yeah.
That's what we
it was Bruins Trojans. It was Cal Trojans. It was Arizona State. So to get immersed into this type of rivalry, it's insane. I would say I don't know. I've been to a lot of rivalry games, and this is top 3 in the whole nation, I think.
Oh, really?
The amount of animosity and hatred each team has, and the amount of bragging rights that's needed and wanted by one side of the fan base, I think it's top 3. I mean, it's a fun rivalry.
So, before we take off here, like, is there something that you would like to say to them that like you wish you knew at the same time? Because you got 1 more year, you got 2 more years? 2 more years. You got 2 more years left, so you got 2 more years left in a collegiate career. Is there something you would like to tell yourself or something at that time?
Make the most of it. I mean, one thing I miss the most is, maybe Perk will agree with me, it's not really the actual game itself, it's the build-up. It's the camaraderie we shared in the locker room. It's the lunch times we had with each other. It's the goofing off. It's the, the trouble we run into. You guys act like angels. We all run into trouble, but it's like getting into a scuffle at the bar, but getting your guy out of the scuffle back to the house. So things like that I remember and I miss is just that really tight brotherhood where we went around wearing our cat shirts and we were proud of it. Like we were like, hell yeah, we're football players. And we were proud of it, but we made sure we took care of each other. And that's one thing I miss the most is just that camaraderie, just the messing around, being with each other, because it goes away. It goes away. There's only a handful of guys I still talk to nowadays. Do I wish I could talk to all of them right now? Yeah. But right now it's only a handful. So just to soak it all in, man, it goes away. Like you hear the cliche, it goes by fast. That is not a cliche. That is legit. You're gonna have your last, from today, one day you're gonna have your last team meeting, and you're gonna sit there like, holy shit, this is the last team meeting. Like I'm done. Like I don't report next Monday. These guys do, I don't.
Yeah.
And so just live it up, man. I mean, like you said about fall camp, everybody hates fall camp. If you're gonna be there, might as well make something out of that day. If you're gonna be at practice, might as well get better.
All right, well, thanks, guys, for coming down, having some lunch with me or whatever at the R Bar, and then good luck this year on the season. Thank you, big.
Where's the lunch at? We said lunch 2 or 3 times. Like, I smell the food. I hear it sizzling.
We just getting started like the kickoff. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Watch the lift off.